a second gun for our 10,000 meters start. Well, there's a look at Kyla Becker. She'll be wearing hip number 5 from the Thunderbirds Club. Marley Beck, another Thunderbird. She'll have hip number 6. It'll be Allie Ginther wearing hip number 7, another member of the Thunderbirds Club. Number 8 belongs to Jamie Hennessy competing unattached out of British Columbia. Hip 9 is Katrina Allison, yet another member of this Thunderbirds track club. They have 5 athletes in total in here. And there is Aaliyah Barati, University of BC. Good performance at the Sun Run last month. And there is Lanny Marchant, Pan Am bronze medalist in the 10K back in 2015. And of course, one of Canada's greatest female marathoners. And we will also have a pacer, and that is Holly McGivelry.
Well, this is set to be a fantastic field of women assembled for this Canadian 10,000 meter track championships, and they are underway. Again, a relatively small but mighty field, and we should say this is really, Adam, signaling a changing of the guard. We have none of our top 3 athletes from last year's championships returning this year. Last year's winner, Natasha Wodak, of course, our marathon Canadian record holder. She won last year in a brilliant time of 32:42:77. She's also an Olympian in this distance. Last year, she was joined on the podium by Caitlin Ayres in second and Cleo Boyd in third. None of those 3 coming back to contest this race this year, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a thrilling event. Our top returner is Allie Ginther. She's 4th last year. As you mentioned, a member of that very strong Thunderbirds team. She was 12th at the Canadian Cross Country Championships last fall. She's got a 34:20 best from this meet last year. Was a standout at the University of Idaho. We have lots of athletes who have had successful collegiate careers both in U Sport and the NCAA. But our early leader, not surprisingly, is the absolutely stunning Lanny Marchant. She is a former Canadian marathon record holder. She broke that 28-year-old marathon record held by Sylvia Ruger back in 2013 at the Toronto Waterfront Marathon, running 2:28 flat. Has doubled at the Olympics and the World Championships in the marathon and the 10,000 meter. Runs for London Western Track and Field Club, and is just one of the most standout and sort of not only decorated, but I would say celebratory athletes that we have. She's a big personality, she's a big talent, and we're so glad to see her back. Lots of health challenges for our early leader over the years, but Marchant, never broken, always stronger for the challenges she goes through, and turned 40 last month, Adam, in I think something, it's really indicative of the talent level of our Canadian women runners, that several of our top Olympic and World Championship athletes are in their late 30s into their early to mid 40s. It's really showing that age is but a number in Canadian distance running.
And there is some prize money on the line tonight as well as Glory. First place will take home $750, second 500, third 300, and fourth 200. And Lanny Marchant, you can see it there, opening up a significant lead early on in this race. So we have a
So Adam, about
3:15 for the opening 1,000.
absolutely, and that is a wonderful time. 3:15 for that opening 1,000 meters. That puts them on 32:30 tempo, and that would be an absolutely phenomenal performance. As we mentioned last year, Tasha Wodak won in 32:42, and Marchant, you know, I mentioned she had some health issues. She has just come off of, and not just a year or two, she's come off of the better part of 8 years of significant health challenges. She had sepsis after having surgery about 6 years ago. And after years of trying to figure out sort of what was wrong with her cadence, she always knew there was something sort of off. She was actually diagnosed with runner's dystonia in 2018, which is a condition that causes involuntary muscle contractions. It's a condition that was sort of made popular, or at least brought into the forefront by American star Kara Goucher. On top of that, Marchant has had some stress reactions and other health issues that have kept her from competing at her very best. But again, never broken, always stronger for it. She said that 2023 was a return to running and a return to joy. And she is just loving being an athlete again, being a runner again, and being healthy enough to show what she's made of here at these championships. So obviously not wanting to waste a moment of that here, doing the hard work up front all by herself.
Well, she's taken control of this race early on. First 10,000 meters of the season for Marchant. She ran a 5,000 meters last month, the Mount Sac relays. Ran 16:42.52 there. Does have a marathon under her belt this year as well. She ran the Chevron Houston Marathon. Ran that in 2:38.32. That was back in January.
Well, Adam, I've made mention of the fact that I ran my marathon debut 2 weeks ago today, actually, in Nashville at the Rock and Roll Marathon. And I've got to say, I channeled Lanny Marchant in that race because Lanny has a propensity towards the extravagant and the wonderful. So she often, tailors her race kit to just, bring joy to the event and to have a lot of fun. And given that it was the Rock and Roll Marathon, I channeled my inner Lanny and brought the same kind of fun and joy to my race. So she's inspired myself and countless other athletes in Canada and beyond with her sense of fun and joy as they go through 2,000 meters in about 6:34. So really consistent
there.
running.
3:15 opening kilometer, and that will be 3:19 second kilometer. But you can also see Marchant is well ahead of our pacer right now, Holly McGillivray, who has been assigned to bring the runners through in 1:20, 1:21 laps and to get them to the 5K mark in 16:45. And right now, Marchant under that 16:45 pace.
Well, that 16:45 tempo that our pacer is set out at, of course, the math would tell you that that would mean a 33:30 10,000, which again is still a fast race. Marchant ahead of that, and I'm sure that's something that would have been discussed ahead of time. We talked about, the pace setting duties and how sort of what kinds of conversations go into that ahead of time. So I'm sure Marchant said, look, this is what I'm going to do. You can lead the rest of the field, but I'm happy to take this out by myself. I want to see what I can do on the day, and kudos to her for doing that. Hard way to run.
We have Now we've talked about Marchant's impressive resume, but one thing missing from that resume is a senior Canadian title, and he's off to an early lead here and looking good to maybe add that here tonight, as she is thoroughly in control in this women's 10,000 meters. As you can see, the chase pack led right now, as you'd expect, by our pacer, Holly McGilvery. And there's a
Well, Adam, we should say that she doesn't have a 10,000 meter Canadian title under her belt. She does have a 10K road Canadian title under her belt. So, not the same event. And Lanny has, a history of performing, I would say, better on the roads than she does on the track. That being said, she is no slouch on the track, taking home the bronze medal at the 2015 Pan Am Games in Toronto in this very event. So certainly a versatile athlete who's proven her mettle both on the track and on the roads.
also has a sixth place finish from the 2016 New York Marathon, that one of the marathon majors. And looking very strong here as she continues to lead this race by a very healthy margin, as she is coming up to the 3-kilometer split now. A little early ahead of myself there. We still have 200 meters left to go before we get that split. Okay, we figured that out. We were right. So it's a 9:57 through 3K. So that is, just trying to do some quick math here, a 3:23 kilometer. So that puts her on 33:10 pace.
Well, this is not unexpected that she would slow a little bit after that very fast opening 3:15 kilometer. Again, this is essentially a glorified time trial. She's running completely solo. She's not running fast enough at this point in the race yet that she's lapping athletes. But as you can see there on your screen, she's far enough ahead of the rest of the field that she won't feel the momentum, the breath, the footsteps of anyone behind her. So this is essentially a workout for her. She's doing it with the, banner of Canadian championship over her, which counts for so much. She's doing it with some crowd support in perfect conditions. All of that really adds up to, a great set of conditions, but she's still doing it completely solo, and this is the toughest way to run. We saw some of our 5,000 meter athletes having to run solo. This is a 10,000, and she's doing it all by herself.
Gonna look now at the chase pack led by our pacer McGilvery. So running second right now. There you see the laps left to go. I believe that was Aaliyah Brody from BC. Second fastest seed time coming into this, 33:27. It continues to be Marchant with that healthy lead. And yes, it is Brody there, tucked in behind the left shoulder of McGivelry. Brody, excuse me, from Smithers, BC. Coached by Melindy Elmore. As we
Well,
mentioned,
Adam,
she
that's a
was
pretty
fourth
good coach to
in the
have.
10 kilometers. That is certainly a very good coach to have, a very accomplished Canadian athlete as well, Melindy Elmore. And Brody coming off a very strong performance, as we mentioned off the top, at the 2024 Vancouver Sun Run. That a 10-kilometer, but out on the street.
So 13:17, it looks like, Adam, through 4 kilometers for Marchant. And you can see just every time the camera pans back to the rest of the field that chase pack is making some ground up on Marchant's early lead. At one point, she had about 70 meters over the rest of the field. And again, unsurprisingly, because she is doing all that work solo up front, that gap is diminishing. 13:17 through 4,000 meters puts her right around 33, 13, 33, 14 tempo. So still incredibly fast, but you can see that she might have some company in short order here, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. You can sort of turn the brain off for a couple laps and work with your competitors before turning things back on again.
So kilometer 4, 3:20 for Marchant. But now it is Brody gaining on her. Brody third overall in your screen. She's right behind the pacer, Holly McGivelry. Also up there is Allie Ginther. Looks like Ginther running third right now. Ginther, one of the 5 Thunderbird athletes in this race. And that gap at the front continuing to close. Brody making her challenge, and Marchant going a little wide here. So Ginther in the mix, as is Kyla Becker. Oh, and Marchant pulls off.
And that's so unfortunate. I wonder if it looked like a bit of a wince as she stepped off, and I just wonder if maybe things didn't feel quite right. Again, as we mentioned, so many health issues for Marchant over the last several years. She's bounced back every time. Surely she will from this again. But you have to make the right decision, the smart move at any given point. And now it is a very interesting race developing with a duo and then a trio about 5 meters back. So as you mentioned, the Thunderbirds well represented here. 16:02 on the clock, and it might turn into a very interesting race if that group of 3 can bridge the gap up to our 2 leaders. Because again, on paper, a bit of separation between each of these athletes, but again, you never know in the 5,000 who's in shape for what under brilliant conditions here and in Coquitlam.
So it's Brody leading the way. Still tucked in behind our pacer, McGivelry. And the battle for second right now, and that is being waged between Kyla Becker and Allie Ginther.
So about 16:40 at halfway puts them on 33:20 pace. Again, that'd be a brilliant performance for each of these runners. And now a bit of a change of the lead and maybe some conversation, Adam, happening there. So our pacer steps off, and now the race on proper. And again, a gap back from our leader to that chase pack of 3. And this is a lonely push now.
Well, this gap looking Marchant-like that we saw early in the race. Unfortunately, Marchant stepped off. Didn't look to be all that comfortable. Hopefully it's nothing serious. So Barati from Smithers, BC, up in the interior, or I guess more northern BC, is leading the way.
Adam, she looks pretty comfortable and relaxed. Keeping that arm carriage very close to the body, not wasting any energy. But now she is in, as you mentioned, a Marchant-like position of being the chased. Not really having a sense of where that threat is coming from or how far back it is. Of course, those chasers have the advantage of working together, having that momentum, perhaps a little bit of conversation amongst themselves about how best to bridge the gap up to Barati. She does come in with the second fastest seed of the bunch. And that 33:27 seed time is actually a road best. As you mentioned, the Vancouver Sun Run, one of the premier road running events in the country and particularly in BC. And almost all of these athletes were out on course just a few weeks ago at that Vancouver Sun Run. And Barati came away ahead of the pack of those competing today, 4th there in 33:27. Graduate of UBC Okanagan in the Faculty of Science. There you see our chasers trying to make up that distance to our leader. So coming up on the 6,000 meter split here. And this is really lonely running up front. So 20:03 through that 6,000 meter split. That is really strong pacing. That puts her at about 33:25 tempo.
Barati continuing to lead the way here in this 10,000 meter championship race. Running in second, Allie Ginther from the Thunderbirds. Behind her, her teammate Kyla Becker. Barati ran a 16:39.34 5,000 the UBC Open back in March. She finished 8th in the St. Patrick's Day 5K, also in March. Ran that in a time of 16:35. And then, as mentioned, the 4th place finish at the Vancouver Sun Run last month, in a time of 33:27. And looking to continue a good start to 2024 with the Canadian Championship here in Coquitlam, BC. And she has a big lead right now as she will lap Catherine Gagne there. Battle behind her between Ginther and Becker continues. Ginther ahead of her Thunderbird teammate Becker. But will they be able to reel in Barati?
Well, again, such strong metronomic running up front by Brody. And she will be coming up on her 7-kilometer split. Again, this is the 30K of the marathon, Adam. This is where things get interesting. This is where you make or break it as a 10K runner. There you see coming into shot, I believe that is Jamie Hennessy. But it is Brody continuing to lead, and she will be about 23:28 on the clock through 7,000 meters. So that is about a 3:25,000 meter for her.
And she's still maintaining that big lead over the Thunderbird teammates, Ginther and Becker. It looks now like Ginther has put some space on Becker.
As we mentioned last year, Ginther, our top returner, she was 4th at this event last year. 8th at the Ginther 4th last year, 10th at the Vancouver Sun Run this year. Becker was 9th in this event last year in 35:01, so doing very well to work together those two as our leader Brody goes around Jamie Hennessy. Again, this is where the leader can start using some of these lapped athletes as good visuals ahead of them, trying to reel them in, just keep their tempo nice and strong, turnover high. You can see the fatigue starting to build a little bit. Sunglasses have moved up to the head, but again, that arm carriage nice and close to the body, and just really fast turnover for a 10K, and her pace, her tempo really hasn't changed very much. Her cadence looking really strong, nice and dynamic. This is the part of the race where you can't fall asleep. You have to stay focused, and you have to talk about, you have to talk to yourself about how fast can my feet hit the track? How fast can I continue turning over? And you have to break it down into laps. That's exactly what Brody's doing. And she's almost through the toughest part of this race.
Stride continues to look strong. Brody hailing from Smithers, BC, about halfway between Prince George and Prince Rupert on Highway 16 in BC's north. Town of about 5,000 people.
Well, she will be the pride of Smithers then as she makes her way towards the 8-kilometer mark. When she gets to the finish line, she'll have 5 laps to go. She was 23:28 at 7K. And she'll be about 26:55 here. 26:56 through 8,000 meters. So it's Brody continuing to hold on to her lead, doing a lot of that hard work up front. Ginther, though, hunting her down as Brody continues to look ahead to her lapped athletes as motivation. Look at the turnover here, Adam. Her cadence has remained really, really strong. It hasn't really changed at all. That's a good sign. She looks powerful. She looks comfortable. You can sense that there's fatigue, but it's not affecting her form, and that's a really, really great sign. You can see back there, about 50 meters back, is Ginther. Ginther, a strong athlete on the track, on the roads, and on the cross-country course. She was 8th at the 2021 Canadian Cross Country Championships and actually went on to represent Canada at the 2022 Pan Am Cross Country Championships in Brazil. 16th at that event, wearing the Team Canada kit. But it is all Brody up front, holding on to this lead, and she knows that she is, when she hits this line, she'll be a mile away from a national title.
Ginther making up some space, looking to improve upon her 4th place finish at these championships last year. Ginther also ran the Vancouver Sun Run last month. She finished 10th, time of 34:17. But she's still got some work to do if she wants to catch up to Leah Brody.
Well, in the better part of 50 meters separating those two runners now, that call athlete in between the two of them wearing hip number 2, I believe that's Anne-Marie Gauthier. Running very strong, but she is a lapped athlete. But I am so impressed, Adam, with the turnover and the determination, the focus, the maintenance of form of Leah Brody. This is the hardest thing to do as you begin to fatigue and you're running completely solo. So the combination of focus and form. And in fact, this is what I actually wrote on my wrist in Sharpie ahead of my marathon. I said, focus, form, flow. And if you can maintain those 3 things, and the little caveat was a sneaky number 4, which is fun. If you can find a way to have fun with all of that, that's just a bonus. But Brody running extremely well here.
Just under 3 laps to go for her, and Ginther now just under 3. And there is Kyla Becker running in 3rd.
So she is coming up on 1,000 meters to go here. 30:20 on the clock. So that was a 3:24 kilometer. And 2.5 laps is all that separates Leah Brody from a national title, a win here at the 2024 Canadian 10,000 meter championships.
There's a good look at that lead she's got right now on Ginther. Ginther running on her own in 2nd place, but it's Brody, running alone in 1st place right now with 2 laps now left to go. Ginther 4th for this event last year, running in 2nd right now. But all eyes on Brody as she looks for her 1st Canadian title. Just under 600 meters now left to go for this athlete from Smithers, BC.
Well, Adam, as we mentioned, she is coached by former Canadian marathon record holder Melindy Elmore, a standout in just about every distance you can imagine. Melindy went to her first Olympics in 2004 in the 1,500 meter, and then her second Olympics 17 years later in the marathon in Tokyo, set to go to Paris in the marathon as well, and coaching this young woman and several other athletes to glory. As our leader will hear the bell, she's being coached well, she's running well. A former Trinity Western athlete, went on to compete for UBC Okanagan and laying her mark down here at the Canadian 10,000 meter championships, about to be crowned with her first national title.
She's maintaining that healthy lead as she's on the back straightaway. Allie Ginther now just coming into frame. She's solidly in second. Now under 200 meters left to go for Brody. Turnover still looking good. The stride length strong. It's a grueling event, the 10,000 meters. But she's only got a little over 100 meters left in it as she rounds the corner. One final time onto the straightaway. Aaliyah Brody is going to win her first Canadian title. She is the 10,000 meter champion in 2024. 33:37:52.
Stunning time, Adam. Absolutely brilliant running. 33:36. What a run by Ginther for second. High fives and hugs all around. Fabulous running there by our top two as a battle develops for third. I love a sprint finish in the 10,000. And in fact, that was a lapped athlete. I apologize. But that was Becker through for third, and this is the exhaustion of the 10,000.
Brody back to her feet now. Obviously rather winded after that performance. She wins the Canadian title of 33:37:52. This is Jamie Hennessy. She hears the bell. This is Catherine Gagne. I believe she still has a lap to go as well. And this is Katrina Allison. And she is going to cross for fourth place.
Well, Allison with a very fast lifetime best of 32:47 from back in 2015. Took some time off, had some injury issues and some other things in life that kept her from fast running, but is back on track as our fifth place athlete. I believe that's Anne-Marie Gauthier from the Call Club, comes across the line in 35:32:98. Again, solo running for many of these athletes in the end. But it is Brody with the national title at 33:37:52, doing it the hard way all by herself. Ginther improves on her fourth place performance from last year with a silver medal at 33:50:67, and Becker rounds out the medals in 34:08:09 as Jamie Hennessy barrels towards the line. Very strong running by her as well. And look at the performance by the Thunderbirds. Second, third, fourth. What a great team effort by them. And Catherine Gagne, also of Call, that Université de Laval team, will round out our field. So a couple of DNFs and a couple of strong performances. That is the 10,000 meter. But brilliant night of running here in beautiful British Columbia. One national championship under our belts, Adam, in the running events. Of course, we had our race walks to kick things off, and we have a men's national title yet to contest.